Brittany, just one thing. You mentioned that you think people should try to reintroduce some romance into.
Yeah, I think it's been sucked out of the life of everyone. This whole thing of the terminal men versus women war has just sucked the romance out of everything, and everyone's just very low trust, and it's very sad to see. And I really wish that romance is brought back, because as we've taken it out, we have all these very undefined relationships, and people are unhappy about it, and everyone's just having to settle for so little because the bar is just so low, and it's really sad for both genders.
Can you clarify or maybe expand on what you mean though by romance? What does that look like?
Like two people who genuinely like each other and want to commit to each other and are only into each other.
Okay. Because when I think of romance, I tend to think of perhaps like romantic overtures, such as, for example, buying girl flowers,
Those are nice too. Those are pleasantries, I suppose,
Yeah.
but it's the foundation that really matters too.
Okay.
Those are symptoms. That comes after you have a good foundation, right?
Okay, so more like actual genuine liking of the person versus perhaps the transaction, I think things tend to be looked at almost in a transactional way, whereas like what can this person provide, whether it's finances, whether it's, whatever it may be.
And that's not to say that men should therefore date ugly, unattractive women that they're not attracted to, and women should date men that they're not attracted to.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, for example, if you want children, there needs to be money there in order for you to raise the children. So,
Sure.
like, looks and being able to provide for a family certainly do matter, but it has become a lot more transactional, and I think that's what's given to the rise to things like OnlyFans and why so many guys and girls are buying into it, and it's sort of like this parasocial thing.
Do you think people
And I
have
don't think it's very
OnlyFans
romantic.
because there's not enough romance?
I think that with the rise of relationships becoming more and more vague, like at the beginning of the show, for example, he was like, whether you're in a situationship, this or that, and it's like 10 different labels instead of just like dating or committal boyfriend, girlfriend, etc.
So if you think that was more clear, people wouldn't get on OnlyFans and make money?
I think that OnlyFans is happening due to the fact that, for example, because most of the customers are guys, even though there are some girls.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think that they're using that as a replacement for sex, in the same vein as porn. And
Okay.
I don't think it's good for either party overall.
Like Japan's
And
probably
it affects
a decent
children
example.
too. Yeah, Japan too.
What do you mean
There's
affect, like porn affect children or OnlyFans?
Well, you could also make the argument if men were getting romance or getting sex from women, that there would not be such a market for pornography.
I mean,
and OnlyFans.
like upwards of 90% of men watch porn. Upwards of 90% of men are single. I mean, a lot of normal people with relationships or jobs, like normal people are on
But that might
OnlyFans.
be
Normal people watch porn.
But that might be contributing to why they're single.
Yeah,
Not
because if you can
where
certainly
you
watch
get
this
it,
porn
just
every day,
your
like why would you work out? Why would you work on your career? Why would you do all that stuff that you can just
Well, the
get on your
majority of
computer?
people that watch porn, like that work out also, they're not working out because they're on OnlyFans. I
But
don't think that's...
just because that one person, like there's people that do, it doesn't mean that there also aren't like a lot of people who don't, because pornography exists, because it's there and so easily available.
So are you just saying that, or is there some like statistical evidence for this? Is just what you feel?
Like I said, you can look at societies like Japan, where they have this massive price. There's a huge porn industry in Japan. Like every single part of the relationship is compartmentalized, where people are going to like, men can go to strip clubs, women can go to like host clubs, which is like the male version of that. It just doesn't seem to be
And
like
you
a
think
very...
that's the reason that Japan is like that? Because I mean, like Europe is super open with sex. We're kind of uptight here in the U.S. And like, are you
also
seeing that countries that watch more porn, you're seeing more of this?
It's that
like,
mixed in with the lack of connection, especially things like, without violating TOS, people being less connected because of COVID, people getting on Discord conversations and having friends through that versus having actual real friends, and people kind of compartmentalizing
So
that.
social media in general.
Yeah.
Okay.
So if you mix that in with lack of social skills, which is kind of a pretty prevalent problem in Japan, like we're getting a lot of that here. So.
But do you think that, like, are you saying that you think the majority of men on OnlyFans don't have social skills? Like, are you saying that porn in particular, OnlyFans in particular, is different than all these other forms of social media that's making people less connected? You think OnlyFans and porn in particular is an issue?
I'm thinking it's all kind of mixed in together as like maybe people should move a little bit more away from it. Maybe like if all of your friends are on Discord, maybe check your life a little bit.
Yeah,
or,
okay,
or
I agree with you.
If you're on the computer if you're not a content creator and you're on the computer all day, maybe check yourself a little bit.
Yeah,
I
I
have
agree.
something to add on to that. So I think that it's all of it as well. But it's specifically with OnlyFans, as the nature of any other pornography, it's a replacement for sex. So I think in that specific area is what it's replacing. So instead of like maybe going and trying to get a girlfriend or a committal relationship, they might turn to OnlyFans, and I think that's why it's become so popular too. And versus other social media, let's say Discord, that would be more like a way of replacing friendship.
I don't know why people think it's like a replacement for sex. I don't think if people watch porn, they're like, oh, I don't ever want to see a real woman naked. I don't think.
Well, men get ED from it though.
Yeah, that can happen, but like porn addiction in general is so misunderstood. It's it's not even recognized by people, the DSM-5, the APA. Like, it's not recognized for a reason, and a lot of it also has to do. They've done studies with moral incongruence. So they've looked at men who've watched porn, and they've compared men who think they have because a lot of it is just what you think you have a problem. Like, do you feel like this is interfering with your daily activities, etc.?
But you wouldn't know unless you stopped for a long period of time.
No, but they find that the men that think it does, they also have negative attitudes towards porn. They have some like moral opposition to it. They're extra religious. They find that those men don't actually even watch more porn than normal men who are living normal, healthy lives. But they have they are like, sex is normal, right? And they're like, oh my God, I have an addiction because I'm not supposed to be doing this. God is mad at me, whatever. And then because they're normal, they turn to it again and again and again, and they think that's an addiction when it's not.
Some people are uncomfortable with social interactions in general, whereas porn and OnlyFans kind of gives you that opportunity to have that fantasy without having to overcome that social anxiety to go and talk to a woman, go on a date and everything.
It's definitely easier. I mean, think about it. What's easier, hanging out with a friend or messaging on Discord, right? So in that same sentiment, I think you have voiced that you don't think that it's a replacement, but if that's not the case, then why, when someone's horny, they turn to porn? Otherwise, what would they have to turn to?
There are a lot of men in relationships that turn to porn. Like, if your girlfriend isn't there with you in the moment, a lot of like that, upwards of 90% of men watch porn, and not 90% of men are single.
Right. And also,
but that could also reflect on their relationship. It could mean that they're not satisfied to some degree, and not even that the woman's not good enough.
But you're making that up. Like, you don't.
No, not even that the woman's not good enough, but like that maybe they're so used to porn that they need those options, because that's one of the most common things you hear from guys when you ask them why do they watch
even when
porn.
I'm in relationships and I'm having a ton of sex, I masturbate. Like, I don't, like, sometimes you want your little alone time, and it's in moderation. I'm not saying it can't be a problem, but I mean, anything, drinking in moderation, gambling in moderation, porn in moderation.
What do you guys think about, do you think that if a guy is horny and he goes out and tries to find a woman in public, that's better than going online? To go meet a woman for the first time and go out
to just hook up?
Whatever. Yeah, you're just going out to,
I think hookup culture is just as terrible.
Right, so it's like, what is worse? Go online and beat it?
But why do you have to meet someone
both
at a
are
club?
bad.
Why not like at a community
Both are bad.
event
A
or-
random person.
Both are bad.
Yeah,
but I mean,
why
some people
either?
benefit from it. It's an industry, so this is a free country, you know?
Why is it bad? Why
Psychologically, that's all.
Because
it's not bad for you. It's not bad for you.
I'm saying, why is it bad for, like, if people, like, what's wrong with hookup culture? I don't engage in it personally because I'm boring, but I'm just
sexual
wondering.
diseases, single
STDs,
motherhood,
for starters.
Pregnancy.
Okay.
inability to
Single
hold a
motherhood is
long-term
a big one.
relationship.
But why would we want
Is
to stop
haram?
it for everybody else? Like, we don't want to do it. Why don't we can just not.
We didn't say we're going to stop. We just say we don't like it. It doesn't mean you can't do it.
But
Is
you
it
think
better
you
if
don't like
someone
it for
stays
everybody,
home,
or you
though?
don't like it for yourself?
If you stay home, you're not going to get someone pregnant. You're not going to get an STI.
There we go.
You're just masturbating at home.
I mean, as he was saying, kind of skirting TOS here, I mean, couldn't you say that we as a society, in order to stop the spread of a certain disease, we actually enacted laws to prevent certain activities, certain mandates, and you could, I mean, I'm not trying to fucking compare hookup culture to COVID here, but you could argue, like, for example, like there's a rise in STDs.
Okay.
Since the advent,
like
since
gonorrhea, what kind of STDs?
Syphilis, gonorrhea.
Okay.
I think something
Terrible
actually
things.
recently in Texas, women in Texas, I forgot which city, but in the past 3 or 4 years, there's been like 150% fold increase in syphilis in women in some like Texas city or some shit. So like
I think we can educate
STDs.
people on that, right? We can educate people on safe sex, but at the end of the day, it's their decision.
Well,
I have no interest in telling people.
Yeah, but
don't
like,
be.
come on, let's not kid. Like, people be fucking without condoms and shit.
Yeah, and that's their decision. I'm not going to sit here and be like,
But all
stop.
the
I don't
education on
care.
safe sex is not going to get someone to change that behavior.
So what is us saying like, oh, this is so wrong, hookup culture?
Well, also, even if you wear a condom, you can still get herpes.
Yeah, you can, but I'm saying
And
these are,
HPV.
we should tell people about the risk, but if they want to engage in it, I don't care enough to tell them to,
Stay on, go
what
make
is, it's
money
not
or
our
something.
business.
What about what about drug use?
What do you mean, what about drug use?
Well, I mean, we can, in our personal lives, we can say, okay, well, drug use is bad, but you can also say, maybe society-wide, this isn't like the best thing. Maybe we should, I'm not saying we should fucking like pass laws to like ban hookup culture, but like we could say like, okay, this is not good.
So you're doing this because you don't want people to get more STDs, and you feel like this is like a pertinent issue in society right now, the rise of STDs, and like we should just be really pushing.
Well, there's other factors why I think hookup culture is not great.
Okay, why?
Do you want the other factors?
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
Because if it's
I
just the
don't
rise
think
of
men,
STDs,
I don't think
feel
men
like
or
this is-
women are happy with hookup culture.
Who are you to say that they're not happy with hookup culture, though?
How
like
often
I'm
do you
not.
hear?
but-
How often do you hear? It's either men who are incapable of finding a relationship, or women who you'll hear from women. I'm tired of these fuck boys. These guys, they just want to fuck. Like, I think both men and women are desirous of long-term relationships, and hookup culture is it doesn't coincide with building long-term relationships.
For some people, it does. Like, I mean, there are people who complain like that, but there are a lot of people who don't. Like, we're in a bubble. There's a lot of online communities that are like, this is terrible. But I feel like if you
Average girls who go to college, or average guys who go to college, are just as likely to say, "Oh, hookup culture sucks."
Can I ask
so
you-
if everyone thinks that, why do some people still choose to engage?
Because
in
everybody's so horny. We need sex, y'all. Stop acting like y'all don't know we horny.
I just don't know.
Shit, we
Motherfuckers
need-
horny.
That's a part of
Motherfuckers
health.
horny.
Y'all don't know that that's a part of being a healthy human. You have to fuck.
Yeah, but
Hello.
are you willing to die in order to achieve
Well,
that?
obviously everybody is.
Yeah. Okay, so has
Obviously
there been an
everybody
increase in
is,
deaths
right?
now
Can I
because
ask
of
a
Because they
question?
still fucking,
you're in
and they
a-
know the risk.
You're in a
dying?
very-
Who's dying?
You're in a very vulnerable position when you open up your body like that to a stranger
I
or somebody
agree.
like you just met. I don't know. I don't understand.
We all
Tell me,
strangers,
but
though. In the
the whole-
beginning.
the
Wait,
thing
so
Your
are
is,
you
mama and
saying
daddy
you've never
was
had a
strangers.
one-night
when we
stand?
need it.
Are you saying you've never had a one-night stand?
no.
Oh shit, you
Ever?
missing out, girl.
Do you drink?
I haven't.
Stop the
either.
cap.
So,
Well, no, they always come back. Sorry.
what do you think I think like one of the main ingredients in a hookup is alcohol. So, what are they gonna do?
Should we ban alcohol? I don't know, Brian. What do you think?
I mean, you could actually make an argument that
Go back to
No, I just
prohibition.
don't
Did that work?
understand how
But see, that
the
doesn't
aren't.
work.
Don't you? Okay, whoever has had a one night stand, like women, aren't you kind of scared that he could do things that you're not comfortable with or hurt you? You're such in a vulnerable position with somebody you don't really know. I don't know. It would freak me out. Like I
Not if
can't be
you drunk.
comfortable like that. Like exactly.
Or if you rolling, girl, you don't
guess-
think about none of that.
I guess I'm in the bathroom before that instant kicks in. So yeah.
Take a little coat. Take a look.
Well,
You're funny.
Single men are one of the main money makers for OnlyFans, so there's that aspect too, right?
Yeah, they're one of them, but they're also.
But it's like
Nonsense.
obviously there are some couples, but it's a lot of probably like 80%.
I think you'd be
right?
surprised
Something like
about the
that.
amount of women who don't care if their man watches porn or is on OnlyFans. Like,
yeah, and
a lot of
like
them
I said,
don't
there's
care.
definitely cut queens. There's people of every.
I don't
flavor
think
and
they're
every
cut
kind.
queens. I just think that they don't care. Like, I wouldn't care if my boyfriend watched porn.
Some people are neutral. Some people are.
I'm not a cut queen. I don't even know
are
what that is.
against it.
Well,
but-
don't search for stuff.
But
You won't find anything if you don't know. You don't know. You're
Isn't
fine.
a cut queen? You're saying they enjoy it, or like,
yeah, the women that enjoy their men looking.
I don't
and
think
getting
some
off of
women
their
just
women
don't care. Like, if
exclusively.
you're allowed to look at women online, I don't have to be the only woman you ever see ever. And
I mean, that's how you facilitate your relationships. But the thing is, I think that affects how committal a relationship is, depending to what degree, especially. So
how so?
Because wouldn't it be more romantic if a guy only has eyes for you and only sees you and vice versa, and the
Okay.
girl only
Well,
is
you
interested
can
in
be
you?
romantic yourself. Why do I have? I don't want to be romantic. Why do I have to be romantic?
Because we all have to live in this culture.
so we should
and our
all be
kids have to live in
romantic
it.
and commit to each other so you feel better.
No, romance facilitates really healthy relationships and happy families, and not having, for example, single mothers having to struggle and raise their kid. It's hard. My single mother raised me. It's not easy.
Can I ask you? Do you go through his phone?
No.
Well, there you go.
Oh shit.
What?
Because why do you not go through his phone? Because you don't want to know.
Because she
Why would I
trusts
go through
him.
her phone?
Oh, I
though? I mean,
wouldn't-
like
there you
relationships
go.
are based on trust.
Exactly.
Well, I wouldn't date somebody that consumes porn because I also don't. So I hold someone else to the same standards.
But
that-
you
What if
should-
you
There
went
you go.
through his phone and found
Yeah.
a whole bunch of porno, girl?
Yeah.
What would you
What
do?
What if?
Well, if you
It's
start,
happened.
like any other relationship,
You don't want to know.
no, like any
He got a
other.
little nervous. Like,
Yeah,
bitch,
he's
shut
like,
your mouth.
Oh no, I'm pretty confident in. That's one of the first things I find out when I date someone. So I'm actually pretty confident I wouldn't find anything.
So
on
you
there.
find
how do you
out- how do
find
you
that
find
out?
out?
Yeah, when you first date someone,
Well,
how do you
which-
find out?
You ask them and you trust.
You just ask for their laptop right away, go through their history.
So if you guys were dating someone on the first date and you had some sort of requirement and deal breaker and you voiced that and they lied to you, I'm pretty sure if you found out they lied that you would probably break up with them too.
How are you finding out or not finding out? Are you checking? What are you doing? Are you with them 24/7?
Right.
I mean, there's
Right.
there's
That
no
part.
Chris Rock joke. People don't like if you're trying to hide your porn from your girl. They don't find it in Fort Knox. They find it in the VCR. So if anybody's
what?
lying in a
When?
relationship,
If you need to
Well,
hide
VCR.
it,
if there- anybody's
Going on,
finding-
baby.
oh, sorry, it's an old joke.
Okay, I don't know.
This is an old. This is from the
It's
2000s.
easier to
but like,
hide it nowadays.
You
I don't
can
think
literally
porn
clear
is-
history right away.
But I don't think porn is responsible for single mothers. I think
I don't
that's
think so at all.
just
Oh,
men who are disloyal,
it's probably.
women who
I
are
would think it's a
disloyal,
contributing
or
factor.
It's
whatever
the
else.
lack. What I'm trying to say, it's the lack of commitment and therefore the lack of romance. That's really prevalent nowadays, which is why we have all these vague relationships.
honestly,
and
I wouldn't like to
meaningless.
find
I
out
don't
if my
want
boyfriend was
romance.
watching porn. I wouldn't like it. So I don't go through his phone
then
because
why
I don't
be
want to
okay-
know. But you know, he
But then
probably
why
doesn't.
be okay with it? Like, what's stopping you from like just saying, "Hey, I'm not comfortable with this. This is my relationship boundary."
That's fine, but you can't make it all of our relationship
Yeah,
boundaries.
I do
We're not
understand
trying
where
to.
you're
We're just saying
coming
this is what
from,
we
though.
do.
I do get where you come from because if all of us women would just keep our fucking legs closed, you know what I'm saying, and wait until marriage, we wouldn't be in this whole fucking shit show of a, you know, feel me? The romance would have stayed and everything. But we horny. I keep telling y'all we need sex, so we can't just wait for somebody to marry us to give it up. Shit, take forever. You be done fucked around and died.
No, some women really are tanking the coochie stock though. Like they accept anything, and it's making it harder for all of us.
Oh my
so.
god.
You're in a happy relationship. Congrats. Very
Yeah.
romantic.
I mean, I'd be terribly hurt if I would find out that my boyfriend like had a one night stand with one chick. But for me, I'm just
But then why accept it?
I don't want to know. Honestly, I'd rather not know because it's gonna hurt me. It's gonna hurt my feelings.
And
So
you gotta
you
deal
know.
with
That
all
seems like
that.
you have.
Yeah.
But you're okay with not knowing, even though like it could possibly be true.
Wouldn't you want to break up?
I mean, I
You
know he
gotta start
doesn't.
all
I don't
over.
think he does. So if I have any reason to believe, then that means I would find out. That means you effed up. You know, it's like don't make sure I don't find out. That's it. You know. I don't know.
Can you
I know
see-
it's weird, but that's just me.
You just rather not know because
I know it's
you
weird.
put in all this work in this relationship and you know just don't find out.
Because
The more
guys
you
hook
fuck
up.
around,
Guys
the more you
hook up.
gonna
Women
find
are
out.
emotional. Most of the time.
But then would you get a pass if you cheated
No.
because the guy had more money and you're a woman, therefore you need resources? Would that get a pass?
No, because it's totally different. Men and women are different.
But women, according to biology, using the same logic, women go for the resources for their children and everything.
Yeah.
So if a woman cheated for the same reason of resources, they wouldn't get that pass. So
Of
it
course
seems kinda
not,
dumb.
because you go for the resources, therefore you go for the relationship, not for the one night stand. Like a guy goes to a chick to bang a chick, and what's
But
her
that's
name again?
still-
I don't know. Like if you go for the resources, you go for somebody else. That's another relationship. That's emotional.
That's still a lack of commitment, though, and that,
Of course it
and that
is.
speaks volumes on not just the micro but the macro, right? It's the little details says a lot about the situation, what they'll do.
What I'm saying is that if a man protects and provide enough, he's gonna have a pass most likely. Like
By you?
For some
I don't think
women,
women would get a pass for that, though.
not a
to
pass.
be
That
like,
is, you can get.
he has
He's
money,
most likely
so-
gonna get away with it. You know.
Wait, so
No,
let me
I
ask.
agree. That's true.
If you meet like the love of your life, you guys get married, happy, and 20 years down the line, you find out that he's had one night stand a year. What do you do?
Why did I find out? That's a question. Is he that dumb? I found out. I didn't want to find out in the first place.
Well, maybe one of the girls hits you up.
I'm
Supposed
just
to have
not
your
gonna.
hoes in
Yeah.
line.
Maybe like you're lying.
Hoes in line.
You're a lying liar who lies. I didn't want to know, but no.
So in that situation, what do you do?
I tell the chick she's a fucking liar. Like
Well,
you're
she
lying.
shows you
Like,
evidence.
Huh?
What if she shows you evidence? Like
Legit receipts?
here's like pictures of them together, hooking up, stuff like that,
Here's a
DMs,
video.
letters.
You never supposed to let
Here's
a chick see you
presents.
sweat though, so you gotta pretend like you like, bitch. You don't know what you talking about. You know,
Yeah,
like,
I
what I
told
feel
him to
about
go.
that.
I'd before that.
Well, do you
Trump.
accept it or you're
Pull
like, I'm
Melania
done?
Trump.
I'd be pissed. I'd probably get over it, but that's me. I'm not saying that it should be a standard for everybody, but that's just myself personally. I can get over that. I grew up around guys, and I can understand like guys, they go for a hookup. It's so not emotional. Like they can literally bang anything without giving a single.
Fuck.
Thank you.
I don't know, I just feel like if I was the kid of a parent like that, I wouldn't want a parent who was doing that behind the.
Of course
back.
not. I don't have kids.
Sets a bad example.
Of course, but
Oh,
Like,
I guess we're just thinking about
it hurts to be cheated on.
But that's
it
not all
hurts.
men.
Like
Not all
I've
men
seen
are
people get
like
cheated
that.
on. It seems to hurt.
So wouldn't it be more
Yeah.
romantic if he was just into you?
Of
Yeah,
course.
of
So
course.
That's my point.
But
is
if I
that
find out,
reality? Is that reality these days?
But why
no, it's
have-
not.
Why
But it
can't
But
it be?
why
Can be.
settle? Is that fair to the other person to settle for them?
huh?
To like
No.
settle, like, oh, I accept that they're going to have bad behaviors.
I
Well,
don't
bad-
accept it. I don't want to know.
But why
But
would
if
you
he
say
footing all
something
your
like that?
damn bills, then you ain't got a choice. Shit, you
But
gotta
if-
sit there, shut the fuck up, and take it. Now,
But if
don't
you know that you can get a man that will not cheat on you, why
you know-
I
wouldn't
have
you
a
go
man
through
that's not gonna cheat on me.
Do you think they don't exist?
Not
No,
all men
I have
cheat.
one.
Not
I
all
have
men
one.
cheat. That's
I
not
have
true.
one. My
Do you-
man wouldn't.
How do you know if you're not looking? You said you don't want to find out. Maybe.
No, because I told him and he was like, I wouldn't do that. What the heck are you talking about? I'm like, I'm just letting you know. I'm just
Conclusive
letting you know
evidence.
if it happens, because it's always when you're not ready that shit happens. I'm pretty superstitious about that. I'm an athlete, sorry. But
knock on wood. for
knock
you,
on
girl.
wood. But Brian said don't knock on the table, so
Oh, my bad, Brian.
but
It's particle board, not wood, anyway.
Did he leave?
just I'd rather just set my boundaries. I was like, hey, like if you don't want to break up with me and it was just a mistake, it's like please don't tell me because that's gonna hurt me.
Wait, but does that make him feel like he can just treat you any sort of way?
No.
And
Yeah.
that
That's
kinda
me.
does.
I told him that. You didn't tell
It
me
comes
that.
across as like if a guy hears that, what they're hearing is like, oh, she's weak, she's desperate, I could do what I want, and they're gonna take advantage of you. And it's the same vice versa. If a guy had low standards like that, they would be called a simp.
Okay, but men, women aren't held to the same standards.
Right, but they're
of all.
balanced. It's
Yeah.
not a direct.
But he's not
50-50, but
he's
it's
not
a
cheating.
balance.
He's not cheating. I mean, not that I know of. And you know what? I'm fine mentally. Like look at me, like I'm doing fine right now.
Are you?
Are you?
Maybe I don't know.
You doing okay?
I'm not sure.
Here, let's move on. I have a couple questions for